Hello, everyone. Benjamin Lindsay here, managing editor at Backstage. We are being joined today by Phoebe Dynevor, the star of Bridgerton on Netflix, which just this morning was picked up for season 2. So we have plenty to talk about. Very excited to be spending time with her, pick her brain on the casting of the series, how she built the character, and just her acting career and advice in general. So let me see if she's here and ready to join us, and then we can get this show on the road. Give it one more minute here. Looks like Phoebe has not joined us yet, which is fine. We'll give it another minute. There she is. All right. Phoebe, I'm sending this your way. Hey
Hi.
there. How are ya?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. My name is Ben. I'm managing editor here at Backstage. It's so great to meet you.
It's lovely to meet you.
Yeah, so good evening, I guess. You're calling in from
Yes.
your home in the UK, I assume.
Yes, I'm in Manchester right now, so it's about 4 p.m.
Yeah, how's it looking over there? How's the state of things?
It's not great. Yeah, it's not great right now. We're still in lockdown.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense. So yeah, just long walks every day. Keep the blood
Yeah.
pumping.
Long winter walks. I've
Yeah.
definitely embraced that myself in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
So,
that's where you are right now? Oh,
yes, yeah.
yeah.
But glad to see that you're staying well at least, taking care of things, taking care of yourself. And
Yeah.
I mean, congrats on season 2 of Bridgerton. That news just broke this morning, so
I know.
congratulations on that.
So
Um,
excited.
yes, of course, of course. But I assume that production won't be starting in the coming weeks or anything. Do you have a map or a time plan for that?
No, not yet. I mean, there's vague rumors, but yeah, I think they're in production right now, so we'll see. Hopefully, over the coming months, maybe through summer. Who knows? Yeah,
Yeah,
still waiting on that information, but
yeah. Fair
can't
enough.
wait to
Fair
just
enough.
know that it's happening. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, definitely exciting. And it must be kind of a strange time to be celebrating this massive series. I mean, it's been out for a month, 63 million viewers in its first 4 weeks.
I
And you
know.
need to be at home and just kind of watch as it goes by. But what's it been like for you? Has it been
Yeah,
pretty surreal?
it has. It's been really surreal. I think, yeah, the last few weeks have been crazy, and especially because we're all at home and so everything's over Zoom or Instagram or
Yeah,
whatever. But it's lovely at the same time because I think it's nice being at home with my family and getting to enjoy the buzz with them. So there's a nice side to it, I think, in that respect.
yeah, absolutely. And it was great for me. I mean, I watched the thing, my partner and I just binged right through it over Christmas. So
Oh,
it's definitely the kind of show that I think people can sit down and enjoy right now, which people should really be taking should not be taking for granted. Rather,
yeah,
it's
exactly. I
of
think it
value.
came out at a great time. I think we were so lucky in that sense that it came out at a time when people really needed an escape, and it really is that. It's such an escape from our world right now, and
Yeah,
this crazy world that we were able to create, which is thrilling and such a feast for the eyes. And yeah, I'm really happy that it's brought joy to people's lives right now.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's get to the beginning of it then. This
Mm.
obviously is an incredible character for any actor to play, and you do such a magnificent job with her. What was the audition process like for Daphne, and how did you ultimately kind of land the gig?
Yeah, so I sent a tape off as most actors do. I just sent a self tape. And then I think a week later I taped for another role. They asked me to put myself on tape for another role, so I did. And then I didn't hear anything for about 3 months. And I was living in LA at the time, and then suddenly I sort of get a call saying, "Will you come in and meet Chris Van Dusen and Betsy Beers at Shondaland?"
Hmm.
So I met with them. We sort of read through the scenes, and then a few days later, they said, "Will you come and do a chemistry read with Reggae?" Who they'd already cast as Simon.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I went in sort of a few days later and read with Reggae. Shonda Rhimes was in the room, which was very daunting and
I
exciting.
imagine.
But yeah, it was me and Reggae and Shonda and the director Julianne Robinson and Chris Van Dusen, our showrunner, in the room. And I don't know, there was something quite, it felt good, and it felt there was something exciting about that.
Mm.
There was something exciting about reading with him. There was, I think with acting sometimes there's something quite intangible. You can feel a chemistry. And I felt that, but as an actor who obviously is used to a lot of no's, I think you push that aside and say,
yeah,
it might not be the one. But yeah, the next day I got a call saying, it's yours. Can you fly out to London in like a few days? And it was, yeah. And then it was sort of a whirlwind from there, really.
yeah,
The
yeah.
next
That's often
7
the
months.
case. You're kept waiting for a few months, and then you're just flying by the
Yeah.
seat of your pants. You're just
Yeah,
going.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's so interesting that you kind of felt that spark in the beginning. It felt good. The chemistry between these two leads was obviously essential to the success of the story. So how do you go about examining that relationship and building that chemistry over time with a scene partner?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were really lucky in the sense that we had like 6 weeks of rehearsal time and before we started shooting, which was amazing, really. And it's not often that you get that time, so we really cherished that. And we had to do so many dances throughout the show, so a lot of our time was spent rehearsing the amazing sequences that you see.
Mm-hmm.
And really trying to get that right. And so we spent a lot of time, in rehearsal rooms. And I think that, it really helped form a chemistry.
Yeah.
There's definitely something to be said for having a dancing partner and trusting each other and having to create something together, which then really informs the performance, I think, in a way. So yeah, that really helped. And we did a lot of intimacy coordination as well, which we rehearsed before we started filming, and that was really informative. And I think it just enabled us to feel really safe around each other. Like there was no, we formed a friendship, we formed a working bond, and we both felt safe within that. And we talked a lot about what we wanted out of it. And yeah, I think just having all that time is such a gift.
Yeah.
It was a lot of that, and the writing is just amazing, and a lot of it's in the writing, to be honest, and the wonderful music that you hear over the top.
Yeah, the writing, the music, the costumes, the
Yeah,
sets. I mean, everything is like as good as it could possibly be. It's great.
yes, I know. What a team. Yeah.
I am interested. I mean, this idea of intimacy coordination, that's really only been a part of the industry as a normative kind of role on set for the last few years. Was this your first time working in that kind of space?
Yeah, it was my first time working with an intimacy coordinator, and it was a brilliant experience. I felt so safe, and it just really felt like a stunt. You rehearse a stunt so that no one gets hurt.
Yeah.
It looks good and looks really real, but no one gets hurt or injured. And it's very much like that. You're rehearsing it so everyone feels comfortable, and no one, there's no line that can ever get crossed, because you're very specific on what you're doing. And also it just makes everyone feel comfortable, not just the actress, but the actor and the crew members. And I just think it makes for a safer space, and therefore you can let loose a bit more and feel freer within that role that you're playing. So it was so helpful. I've done intimacy scenes without a coordinator in the past, and it's a very, very different experience. So yeah, I just hope that it sort of becomes a necessity, really, that you sort of have to have for everything.
Yeah, I love hearing that. I mean, at the end of the day, it just allows everyone to do their best work. Everyone is comfortable. Yeah. There's no fear going into scenes that are a bit more revealing in that way.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's great. That's great. Well, backstage, a lot of us in the audience today are kind of the working actors of the world. I'd also just to love or I'd also love to hear a bit about just your process in kind of building this character. So
Yeah.
you're along with the script for the first time, for instance. What is it that you do as an actor? What are the little tricks that you do to kind of decide what Daphne's going to look like on screen?
Yeah, Daphne was interesting because a lot of it was sort of her attending balls and this
Hmm.
outer sort of shell that she portrays to the world, which is sort of this perfect diamond or whatever. So
Hmm.
I think we were really lucky in that we rehearsed all that sort of stuff. We did a lot of etiquette, and our, our our choreographer would talk about posture, and all of those things were something that we rehearsed and got right and figured out. And then for me, it was just really important to know what was happening underneath all that for Daphne, and what was really going on when she was
Hmm.
doing all these things. And so
And
yeah, that
granted,
was,
she's a little confused too about what she
and she's
wants
so
and what.
confused
Yeah.
and naive and vulnerable in so many ways. She, this is her going out into the real world for the first time. So it was finding that innocence and that strength that she has as well, that I think was really important. And again, really lucky, got the first 6 scripts pretty soon into it. So I was able to just sort of plot her journey because she has such an amazing story arc as well.
Hmm.
She sort of goes from the really naive and innocent and uncertain about this big wide world to a married duchess. Well, I hope no one's watching this, but she becomes a woman essentially. So
Yeah.
it was really important to get that journey right and make it feel honest and real and not animated. This is a
Hmm.
real human being who's has fears and worries, and so I played a lot with the anxiety underneath that as well. There's always something, her heart sort of beating out of her chest in every scene, because
Yeah.
it's quite a nerve-wracking thing to be bowing to the queen and everyone looking at you and trying to find a husband. I mean, there was quite a lot of pressure placed on them. So yeah, it was finding that as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you mentioned that, I mean, she's bowing to the queen, for instance. A lot of these
Yeah,
feelings that she might be feeling, you have to play as if it's the first time that she's feeling them. I mean, there is an innocence there, but then to see the way that it's charted through the season, to see the conversations that she ultimately has with Simon, with her mother, she is
yeah,
like coming into her own in a really powerful way.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's great to hear that you're able to map it out with those early scripts. Kind of,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
great.
yeah.
And I
Um,
think as well with the intimacy stuff, we were so specific with those scenes because it really is about telling her story and her sexual awakening and
mhm.
understanding what all those things are and what they mean. So every intimate scene, we really wanted to get right in terms of telling the story and what we wanted to portray.
Hmm.
So that was another piece of the puzzle that was really helpful to really rehearse beforehand.
Yeah, it wasn't just the physical, it was the emotional of this
Mm,
is the first time.
yeah,
Blank. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, exactly. Well, I'd love to hear a bit more about kind of your roots in the performing arts, because my understanding is that your father's a screenwriter, your mother is or was an actress. So has working in television, working in the performing arts, has that always kind of been the journey for you, or how did they first start playing a role in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always found people in the arts just really fascinating. And everyone in my family has a weird leg in the industry, which is
Mm,
interesting. My grandpa was a director, and my grandma was a third AD. So you'd always hear stories growing up just of being on set and of actors, and
hmm.
that was, I think, the first thing that actors just seem like really fascinating people. And I just really remember the stories that my parents would tell of these amazing actors, and that, so yeah. And then it was just sort of figuring out, okay, what is this, what part of this business do I want, because I really
Hmm.
wanted to be a part of this family. I think I just heard that all these talented people coming together to make something,
Hmm. Hmm.
such an exciting thing. It's not just the acting, but whatever part you are of making a production, especially something like Bridgerton. There's so much talent, and they're all coming together to make this beautiful thing. So that was really exciting. And then I just yeah, started falling in love with films
Yeah.
and watching my mum. I went to see her on set a bit, and yeah, and so yeah, the bug kicked in pretty early, and by 13 that was it. I was going to be an actor, and no one was stopping me.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. And through that time, I mean, I know that you have credits dating back to 13, 14 years old. Did you go through any like proper training program or take acting classes, or has it kind of just been through osmosis that you're picking up on what works for you as a performer?
Yeah, it's been a lot of that. I know I was thinking about going to drama school when I was about 18, but I luckily got, I got a part in something and then got a part in something else, and then suddenly I was like, maybe I should just see where this takes me
Yeah,
instead. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's been a weird journey. I've spent a bit of time in LA and a bit of time in New York, and I'll attend, and even in London I'll sort of attend the odd class. I've attended little classes and stuff, but never had proper training, no, which is always interesting, especially in England, because a lot of the actors you're working with have had
Mhm.
training.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting, but you learn so much on the job, I think. And
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, I learned, I mean, even something like Bridgerton, I learned so much just making that show. So yeah, just soaking it in, I think, however you can.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you got to be a sponge in those situations and
Yes,
learn what works for you
absolutely.
along the way. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you've also said, I mean, as recently as a couple years ago, you said that you weren't finding the success that you wanted. You put a lot of pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
How do you professionally? How have you kind of pushed through any self doubt that comes with the peaks and valleys of an acting career?
Yeah, it's funny. I did go through a stage of being even like right before Bridgerton, and yeah, it is. It's funny. There's so many peaks and troughs, and so much rejection, and to be able to be an actor and have really thick skin and also be able to emote is quite a difficult thing to
Mm,
do. And so
yeah.
it is about just, I don't know. I think when things started changing for me, it was like, I'm not going to go in and sort of try and beg for a job. I'm going to start going in and just thinking, I'm just going to give you what I think's right, and either you like it or you don't.
Hmm.
And that was a little bit of a turning point for me when I just thought, sort of, fuck it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to do what I think's right. And that's fine. And that they either take it or they don't. It's something about, I mean, there's something to be said for like playing a bit hard to get in those situations
Hmm.
where it's like you have to go in thinking, I think this is right, and you either take it or leave it, but I'm not desperate for the job, which is obviously really difficult when you've got bills to pay, and
Hmm. Yeah.
it's not an easy thing to do, but it really does make a difference, I think.
Yeah. If you go in to, I mean, you obviously need a hunger for it, but there's a difference between that and a desperation for it. And I think if you can go
Absolutely.
in and feel like you can live without it, then that's the time that you are putting or positioning yourself to get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a value. Well, kind of in line with this, again, the backstage audience being some of those early career folks, what is a piece of advice that you would give your younger self when you were first getting your start?
Ooh, I'd say just keep going, because it's funny, but it's only when you get a bit of, when you actually start working or get a bit of success that you look back and you go, oh, I didn't get that because it wasn't right and it wasn't the right time. And I feel
Hmm.
like it will come at the right time. You just have to keep going, and you have to keep believing in yourself, and don't try and change for anything, because what makes you unique is what's going to get you a certain part. It just has to be at the right time.
Yeah,
So yeah, timing is a lot about the industry, being in the right place at the right time. So just keep going and be resilient, and learn your craft in whichever way you can. But know that it will come when you're ready. It will come.
yeah. I like that. I like that. Well, as a final question for you, then, thank you again for spending some time with us today. I just got the email in my inbox before this conversation with the season 2 renewal, so congrats
Yeah,
on that. What do
thank
you
you.
hope to see for Daphne's journey, just looking ahead to this new season?
Yeah, I mean, I hope she gets involved in Anthony's love life as much as he was
Yeah.
involved in hers.
Yes, fair enough.
I think that's one. And then I think, yeah, love is very complex and it's never necessarily a happy ending. There's always challenges to face along the way. So I think there probably will be more. And I hope to explore those. So yeah, that would be fun as well.
There we go. Well, I know that there's more than just me excited for this new season. The whole world's waiting. So, yeah, congrats on the season.
Thank you.
Congrats on season 2. And thank you again. Stay
Thanks
well.
so much. Take care.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.